Um, so, recently I sent analysis on GBP AUD. I would be going over from the monthly all the way to my analysis time frame, and later on I would be going over the entries which we could have find, and I will talk about that as well. So, starting from the monthly, the thing which I was observing was this um, retail support right there. Okay. Okay, so yeah, there was a retail support which I was observing, and as you can see, like price has touched that this zone several times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and price was really consolidating right there. Okay, so there was a good retail support, and price actually delivered below that. Okay, let me just hide that. Price actually delivered below that. So seeing this breakout, the retail would try to short the position. So I went against that, and I thought like maybe price would do a breakout of that retail support and close above that region. Okay, so that was simply my confirmation, my bias on the monthly time frame. There was nothing else. Just this, I was expecting a breakout of that because price has got the liquidity, so it might, try to grab the liquidity of those traders who have entered on that breakout. Okay, so moving down to the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that at this point the bearish momentum was really strong, but eventually when price was, that has been several long period right there. So price was really losing its momentum at this point. Price lost several of its momentum, but as soon as price broke that, it again lost momentum. Like we were seeing some bullish entries in the market. So seeing this lose in momentum, I was expecting price to do a pullback, taking out these highs right there, maybe filling this imbalance, and we can continue downside again. But on weekly, the thing which I was only observing was, this lose in momentum. Momentum was getting weaker and weaker as price was continuing. Okay, so that's all. So on daily, was there anything? No, there wasn't anything except that um, price grabbed the lows for, okay, and it rejected again and again. Like price grabbed this low right there, and it rejected and closed back within the trading range. Okay. So there's nothing really on the daily time frame. So let me just go down to the 2 hour where my analysis was based on. Okay, so right there, um, it's kind of still unfolding at the moment. Like if I were to take a swing position, then that would be my target because that is clearly a retail resistance right there. So for swing position, we can target this region. As an intraday trader, I have, I look for several entries, and I will discuss that. So on 2 hour time frame, I was observing this accumulation, Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Um, right there, when price closed back within the range, I anticipated that this might be the possible swing. The price really didn't give a pullback, so there wasn't any test phase. So I was anticipating the price might do any test phase. Kindly mute yourself, guys. Um, what? Nubia, can you please mute yourself? Okay, I just have to remove that person because I was not able to mute that fact. So, anyways, when any schematic appears, okay, for example, right there, I was observing this to be an accumulation zone. So what Wyckoff traders gets difficulty is like they are not able to identify that whether it's going to be an accumulation phase, accumulation schematic, or is it going to be a redistribution. So at this point, I do two or three things. I look for my high time frame confluences, which I just discussed with you guys. Like my high time frame confluences were telling me that the price might continue upside, and similarly, I was seeing a divergence in volume. Okay, from volume perspective, the price was making, this was a low, and price made another low. While if we talk about the volume, we were seeing a divergence. The volume was getting decreased. It was decreasing. So this added me that this might be the possible accumulation, and we may continue higher instead of considering this as a redistribution phase. Moreover, there wasn't any clear usage, so if this is going to be a redistribution, the price might continue upside, unfold the usage, then continue downside. In this specific way, we can definitely capitalize on buy positions. Okay. So, this bearish momentum from SMC perspective, this bearish momentum was really strong. The price would have continued downside, but what we saw is like uh, bulls into the market, and instead of any weaker entry, the bulls entered very heavily. So that showed that this bearish momentum got stopped out like it was nothing, while bulls entered like they had really strong they were really strong at this point that they just stopped this and eventually printed some huge candles right there. So seeing this momentum, seeing this accumulation, the volume getting decreased, and the high time frame confluences, that showed me that price might do a test phase, and from this area right there, I might just look for possible uh, fractal accumulation on lower time frame or re-accumulation. It depends, and then I would try to get in. So same thing happened on 5 minute time frame. I noticed two uh, confirmations, two entries, and I will discuss both of them. So right here, as you can see, we have re-accumulation schematic form. Okay, so I was active. I was live. Was with the markets at this time, and I was observing this. But if you observe that this candle actually closed when the it's unfolded when the market was at its closing time. The spreads were huge, and if you observe another thing, that the price closed right there. Like I obviously wait for price to do a breakout and then close back within the range. So did this candle actually faked it out? I consider that as a spring, but the closing was really upside. So if I had just um, entered right there, I would have placed my stop loss below this wick, which would have me caught like a huge stop loss. Okay, so one thing was this, that this candle closed really above. Okay, and the other thing was like the time was not good, the spreads were huge, and it was really not a good time because I really like to enter trades in London session or New York session. So another trade which I observed, which I didn't enter as well because I was not with my setup, but I just noticed that, so I thought it would be good to share that. So right here, um, I saw this accumulation schematic. Okay, we have our selling timex and all these phases right there. The price did a spring. Okay, the spring was with low volume. Okay, decrease in volume right there. As you can see, the price was making low lows, but we were continuously seeing a decrease in volume divergence, and it's really ideal to have our spring, our test, our last point of supply to be with low volume if you're trading accumulations. Okay, so as price closed back within the range, that would have been my entry, placing my stop loss below and aiming for definitely full restore ratio as I mentioned in all my videos. So that is something I would have entered, but as I was not with my setup, so I just couldn't take that. So yeah, that is simply a breakdown of GBP AUD. For swing positions, it's kind of still running, I would say. Like I'm still expecting price to continue above this. So maybe if we get any possible re-entries, then I would definitely try to capitalize on those. So if you have any question, then you can just drop in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay, so I will consider that as no question. So is everything clear? Like you guys do not have any question? Shall I end the video?
Well, I'm okay, but uh, what how, what is your entry plan here? If you go in, how what you looking for?
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, guys, as I mentioned right there, in most of my analysis, I am writing like this. I'm either waiting for accumulation, fractal accumulations, or fractal distributions. But what by that I mean is that we have already seen an accumulation schematic on 2 over. Okay, so three are my entry points: the spring, the test phase, the last point of supply in case of accumulation zone. Like these three phases. Okay, that was. Let me just show you. Where was that? Okay, right there. As you can see, the spring phase, the test phase, the last point of storage support. These 3 points are somewhat where I like to enter, and I do not enter directly in these phases. And this is something which we were seeing on tour, right? So I do not enter directly in the spring phase, test phase, LPS phase. But what I like to do is I like to wait for fractal accumulation, like this same schematics on lower time frame. And that is exactly what I just showed you. Like this was my 2 hour schematic, accumulation schematic. The spring had already formed. I couldn't look any entries right there. So for a test phase, I said like I would go over to my lower time frame, and I would look for further confirmation, further accumulation. And that is exactly what I explained you, like guys, like here, like this is a accumulation zone schematic, and this is a re-accumulation schematic. So if I'm seeing these schematics on lower time frame, I just like to enter the trade, and that is my simply entry confirmations. Placing my stop loss below the spring, uh, entering when the price comes back within the trading range, okay, and aiming for 1 ratio 4. That's my aim.
So you don't wait for the spring to break off structure. I don't know from the left.
No,
You just go in
no.
anticipating.
Yeah, I don't wait for price to break structure. I just wait for price to close back within the range and just kind of enter. I don't wait for price to break structure actually.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you everyone for attending this. So I'll just
Bro, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I just wanted to ask I just wanted to ask a quick question. I don't know if you can recommend a channel for me where I can learn Wyckoff, because I've been trying to learn on my own, and it's really a bit hard and rocky for me. So if you have a channel in mind, or like a book where I can learn from the basics to the like professional level and stuff. I'm really sorry for bringing this question up. I don't know
No, no,
if it's like
it's okay. It's okay. I
really.
will tell you about that. So basically, okay. So basically about learning Wyckoff. First thing is that if you have if you're trading anything else, if you're trading SMC, just try to get hand on that. If you cannot, if you think that Wyckoff would be a good confluence in your trading, okay, then that's a question like where to learn Wyckoff from. So I personally learned from there's this course like Wyckoff Analytics, okay, and the most things where from where I learned was from the old school books, which was from the author himself, the big guys, okay. So I would actually send the links to those PDFs in my channel right now. You can go over the PDFs. There are several PDFs. I would say like instead of watching the videos, just go over the old school PDFs. That will really benefits you. And there are
Oh,
some videos I would actually ask my friend if he allows me to share those videos, because I previously in the previous video said that I learned from one of my friend as well, which his name is Eddie. So I would ask him if he allows me to share the videos, then I would share those videos as well. You can learn from that. He's a great guy. He's a great Wyckofian. So yeah,
Yeah. All right, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, bro.
you're welcome. Okay, so I'll just conclude the video here. Thank you for everyone for attending. Hope to see you in the next video. See you all. Take care.